Hey guys, it's Matt. I had one of the most amazing synchronicities of my life yesterday. In this video, I'll be back in a few minutes. I've got to show you a few things to kind of explain maybe how this occurred or why this occurred. I think many of us believe, of course, there's reasons for these sorts of experiences, not that they're random. They would be written off as random, of course, by our family and friends. So let me show you a few things. I'll be back. And the comments, hopefully the comments in this video will be about if you've had any incredible, amazing synchronicities in the last few years, and also the focus of maybe why this synchronicity occurred. I was focusing, the Free Voice video on Sunday was on the 1967 TV show, The Prisoner. And there was a whole aspect of The Prisoner that I was going to get into regarding the logo of the village. And I didn't get into it at all for a few reasons. But I spent a lot of time focusing on it, and it almost became a big part of Sunday's video. Well, the next day, Monday, boom, something very related to that logo happened to me. And let me show you this. I'll be back in a few minutes. Sunday's video at freevoice.io was about The Prisoner. And a major part of The Prisoner is something I didn't even talk about. The logo of the village, it's shown in every single episode. It's all over the place, is one of these penny farthing bikes, is it? These old bikes from the 1870s are called penny, like the currency, penny-farthings. Now, I don't think I'm pronouncing that second part correctly, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. It was 2 British coins. The penny must have been the larger coin, so that's the front wheel, much larger than the back wheel. This other currency is called a farthing. It's spelled F-A-R-T-H-I-N-G, so I don't know. How else would you pronounce that? But so the smaller currency, the larger, that's all it was. It just resembled these 2 coins in the 1870s or 1860s in the UK. Penny farthing. The point is, the old-fashioned bike is a gigantic part of the Prisoner show. It's in every episode, the start, the finish, and it's shown with a sun canopy of some kind. There's a better look at it there. I didn't know that was an optional feature for the 1870 penny farthing. Can I get mine with the sun canopy? It's in every episode. There it is off to the right behind number 2. He's only got one thing in that room that's like not of use, like a phone or a readout or display. It's this penny farthing bike. It's in every movie poster you pull up. Not every one, but it is all over the place. The opening of the show, the closing. So for many times watching the show, I'm going, what's the deal with this bike? It's not explained. It's not talked about. I'll try to do a little research on it now. And I was going to bring it up as part of the freevoice.io video where I showed several clips from The Prisoner, which I can do at freevoice.io. I was going to bring that up as a separate section, saying, why is this bike such a big deal in The Prisoner show? And I thought about it, and I concentrated on it, and I had no real, and I still don't know. I'll look to your comments. I mean, I guess, I don't know I think I'll just continue with this video because it relates more to the synchronicity than trying to put out a possible explanation as to why this bike was so important. He doesn't ride it or anything. It's just a logo that appears. So let's just stick with the topic of this video. It's more about the synchronicity. The point is, on Sunday, I spent a lot of time focusing on this bike. Final part. Have you ever seen, at any time in your life, anybody just ride by on one of these gigantic things? Have you ever seen this? Like, here's somebody's neighbor, that guy in the house there. That son of a beach neighbor's out there in his penny farthing again. Here's some guy in London. You ever seen anybody ride by? In London, it seems to make more sense. You know, somebody looking out their window. Look at that son of a beach. Get a real bike, sir. You know, oh, there's the penny and the farthing. Okay. Point is, have you ever in your life seen any son of a beach ride one of these humongous things? Well, you can kind of see where this story's going. So to conclude the story, Monday was yesterday. You know, I don't typically make a video on Monday. I run my errands. I get my food shopping done or get an oil change or whatever. Going out in the world on Monday is a little bit more quiet. I don't like to go out into the world much. So I'm going to Aldi to buy food. Route 29 and 202. I'm sitting at the light by the Wawa there, very close to the Aldi food store. And what the hell is that coming? Well, it was like the penny farthing club, but it was just two of them, but gigantic, the humongous wheel. I mean, they're way up in the air. Here they come to go right in front of my car. I'm the first car at the light. I just started belting out laughing, and I looked over to see if the person next to me was looking at me because I could not control my laughter. Two gigantic, I mean, they're way up. I've never seen these things up close. I've never seen anybody ride one. They're way up in the air, and they're dressed like old timers. You know, it's like the penny farthing club, but there was only two of them, and I think they had a tie or like old fashioned knickers on, and they go across the street, and there is a path. I mean, I understand they're not just riding along the road; they're trying to get up and over to a path, and I just start belting out laughing. I've never seen one of these in my life. I've never seen anybody ride one. You know, maybe I don't think I've ever even seen one like in a window or anything. Never. I have no experience whatsoever. Yet I spend hours and hours focusing on the prisoner. Many times during the presentation I put together for freevoice.io, trying to figure out, wait, how does this bike come into play? Why is it so important? And several times I thought, well, I have nothing. I mean, honestly, as of this moment, I don't know why the bike was such a, what was being said in terms of that symbolism. And every time I thought about it on Sunday, I thought, this is not guessing as to the importance of this bike, this penny farthing. Is not why it's so prominent in The Prisoner is not really the main purpose. I see so many other, quote, truth drops in The Prisoner. I thought, man, let's just stick to the basics of the basic symbolism that's being presented here. Not why this bike keeps popping up. But again, the focus, there's, you know where I'm going with this. There's no doubt in my mind, the focus on that for hours, on and off on Sunday. And then the first time going out into the world on Monday, right at my destination, boom, first car, here come the penny farthings, two of them. And it is, when you see it up close, you get a sense from some of those pictures I showed you. You see it how they said they were dangerous. I was going to say how high up they are. Any sort of fall, and they didn't wear helmets, of course, anything back in the day. Very dangerous. I mean, your head, they have to be up. If you walk as a 6-foot man, you're riding at close to 9 feet or something like that. If you fall, it's probably very dangerous. So never in my life have I ever seen any of these, never saw anybody ride one, nothing, never had a conversation with anybody about it, never talked to my grandfather about it. The next day, here come two dressed as the old timers, two penny farthings right in front of the car. I didn't smile, I started laughing, and I looked over at the person next to me, was in their own world or whatever, just waiting. They were going to go straight. I was in the left lane to turn towards the Wawa and the Aldi. And I thought, there's coincidences, and then there's not. And then too much of this stuff happens to us. So let me collect my thoughts, guys. I'll come back. And, why does this stuff happen? Let's just talk about synchronicities in general. Why does this stuff happen to us all the time? Maybe not to this degree, but it's getting rather ridiculous. There are 3 definitions of synchronicity I'll show you now, and this absolutely reveals what Not Milk is up to, what it is here to do. It's always the same sentence: to remove you or a real spiritual being from understanding that you possess that aspect. It is no more apparent than in these 3 definitions. So let's look at the Not Milk right from the top of Google. Synchronicity, the Not Milk will tell you, it's the simultaneous occurrence of events which appear significantly related but have no discernible causal connection. They appear to you poor devils who would read into it. They appear related. Oh, you doing apophinia again, you poor devils? Apophinia, you see these connections where they don't exist. When you go back to your conspiracy, it tells you, just like my friend Tony says, Matt, there is no conspiracy. Here it says, there is no discernible causal connection. Take that, you conspiracy fools. Then I came upon this on the other end of the spectrum. What is synchronicity? The universe reveals itself through synchronicity. It orchestrates the events, people, and environment, and lining them up so that you are exactly where you need to be. Ah, Wayne's diagram, all of this for us. Synchronicity takes place like a vibrational beacon that transmits a divine message or coded sign back to you, indicating that you are in alignment or in the right path. Evelyn Lim. I don't know who you are, Evelyn Lim, but that was very, very, very well said. Do you see the difference between what really should be discussed in terms of synchronicity here and what the knot milk tries to do? I mean, can you see how it's so revealing? It plays the same game. Matt, there is no conspiracy. Oh, you people are trying to see a connection because you're spiritual beings and you think there's like signs and symbols from the universe. There's the knot milk. You fool. It always does this to us. And then the masses, like the hordes that begged for bread in the Colosseum, they just support the status quo and they're the palace guard and they just point and laugh at us as well. It doesn't matter. Too much of this has happened to us. This definition is accurate. Not milk, your definition sucks rocks. And you have a lot of middle of the road definitions or hybrid. That's not all not milk, not all Longshanks, not all us, not Evelyn's, not milks, but kind of in the middle. The experience of two or more events that are apparently causally unrelated or unlikely to occur together by chance, yet are experienced as occurring together in a meaningful manner. Wherever this came from, at least it opens up the possibility that could be a meaningful connection or some sort of connection. And of course, it appears to be by chance when the damn penny bikes went rolling in front of me while I'm sitting at the light. Well, yeah, at first it appears to be by chance, but then I immediately, if I had done the prisoner video 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't have thought much about it. But I had just spent hours and hours on it the prior day. So this is a more common definition, and it's fair. It opens up the possibility to there being a meaningful connection. Not milk just shuts that door and makes you feel if you want to go there, you're some sort of freak. Some time ago, someone sent me these AI images regarding the ship of fools on the river of insanity, and they're quite apt, whatever that means, to what we're talking about today. Because the AI wasn't very good. There's like melting faces and eyes that are half closed, and it's actually better to have this melting. If the AI today has improved itself and cleaned everything up, these ship of fools, I mean, I'm glad the AI sucked rocks back when these were done, and I still have the other images. I don't remember ever seeing this one. Very apt to what we're talking about. Whatever is represented on the ship of fools, and we try to be as respectful as we can, of course, to our family and friends. But in every single case, it's a coincidence, Matt. It's just a coincidence. Matt, you weren't the only one at the light to see the penny bikes come through, right? Was everybody else at the light, was everybody else at the light there working on the prisoner the day before? No, it's just a coincidence. It was a coincidence to you, and a lot of people, 1,000 people that day saw the penny bikes, Matt. Did they all come off the prisoner set? Oh, it's just special for you. Oh, you're not saying, oh, you manifested it. Oh, you one of those weird-ass people. It's to the ship of fools. It's just a coincidence. And get over it, you conspiracy people. Yeah, but what if everybody isn't the same here? And you do have certain different types of spiritual beings or different types of entities or generator beings, beings that are vampiric that needs to suck the energy, can't produce the energy on their own, those that produce the energy, those that manifest, those that the reality needs to, quote, create itself. All of these things, people in our group, I mean, we see as possible, where that would be written off as mad to anybody we would talk to, of course, but we've seen too much and we've heard too many smart people talk about these sorts of things and their experiences with these sorts of things. So for now, we'll just keep throwing out that a certain percentage are real. Again, I've said a few times recently, Inara says about 3%, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter as long as we see there are differences between us. So for some, the thought in some way can create the event to degrees that we really don't understand. But if we back up and examine the basics like we have many times, we see that these things are possible. There is no Big Bang and things that came from space. There's consciousness comes first. The first rule of what is called the Kabbalion. All is mind. Of course, in some way, consciousness comes first. If this reality needs consciousness, or at least a few people's real consciousness, then these synchronicities they're derived in the same way. There's many people listening to this, of course, would say it's not just likely there was a relationship between what happened to me focusing on the prisoner and then the penny bikes. Some people listening to this would say it's 100%. I mean, of course, what else could it be? So we have a whole huge scale. Some would say it's, almost 100% guaranteed that one is related to the other, where my old friend Tony would say it's 100% guaranteed that it's just a coincidence. It's completely on different sides of the spectrum. Well, Matt, in some way, if that was related to what you worked on the day before, the prisoner, well, what are you saying? There's only two possibilities. One is some aspect of the reality knew you were focused on the prisoner and it's looking at the logo and examining what this bike means. And then what did it change the lights, Matt? So there were several lights that I didn't mention this, guys, but I got caught at a few lights in strange circumstances on the way to this Aldi. Lights I normally get through with yellow, and I had to hit the brakes hard. And I actually said out loud on the way to the Aldi, I hate driving. But I say that basically every time I drive out. But I literally the light kept hitting, and then I don't want to just run it and get a ticket and go through. I'll slam on the brakes. I don't want to deal with it. Having some officer, it was yellow. I don't want to go through that. I'll slam on the brakes. I'll stop at the light. I don't want to deal with not knowing anything. And and I yelled out, I hate driving. But so weird things, and so Tony would say, oh yeah, Matt, the reality manipulated things so you would just happen to be there at the right time. That's weird. My friend Tony would say, that's weird in and of itself. But you people go even farther. Like you're some sort of gods or something. You manifested it, whatever that means. So it's weird enough to say reality saw to it that you were to see these penny bikes. Maybe the lights changed or whatever. You arrogant pricks think you're some sort of gods and you manifested it. You hear, Matt, here's a bathtub. Let me fill it up. You walk on water. Let me fill this bathtub up, Matt. Jump in the water. See what happens. You go right to the bottom, you dumb son of a beach. You people think you can manifest. Oh, you really should check yourselves in the insane asylum. So what does this symbol mean in the prisoner? This bike appearing absolutely everywhere. And I think they each had to wear little pins, or at least the minions of the village wore these round pins saying they were number 2 or whatever number. And I believe the bike appeared it was almost like a campaign pin that people wore. So it was all over the place. What does it mean? I still have no idea. I'll look to your comments. The only thing that kind of comes to mind without me, if you think on it, you almost have to clear out your conscious mind, clear out the frontal lobes, the ego, the part that thinks in English, and just let things come through the inner knowing, the subconscious. What comes to me, I see hamster wheel, this huge wheel. It is a stretch. I mean, I don't really, for a long time yesterday, I really thought about it and thought I need to make this part of the video. What is the meaning of this? If I have nothing to offer, I guess I'll just leave it out. And there was so much else to talk about. We could talk about that last episode. The last episode of The Prisoner, as I said, is the strangest TV show of all time that makes the Rocky Horror Picture look normal. So I see hamster wheel. But, that's not very much. Matt, that ain't shit. I know. I'll look to your comments. I don't know. And here's the thing. I don't believe it's ever mentioned in the show at all. It's not discussed. There's certain segments, guys. It was close to 15 hours of watching, I think, for 17 episodes. I fast-forwarded through a few parts. I watched, I would say, 90% It got a little bit tough towards episode 12, 13, 14, 15, a little bit redundant. Fast forward. Maybe they did discuss it, or maybe there was a show about this that somehow I missed. I don't think it was mentioned. So I'll look to your comments. What do you think? I see hamster wheel. That is a big part of he's constantly trying to escape, constantly trying to get out and go back to what, and it's very much like the Matrix. Go back to the real world, which is all part of the same fake world. In the Matrix, those that escape the Matrix that are rescued by Morpheus and the Nebuchadnezzar ship, and it's just another layer of control in the Matrix. Neo didn't find the real world. He just, it's pretty much agreed upon now that that's just another layer of the Matrix. So it can take the malcontents out of their pods and put them in this little scenario where they think they're rebelling and they think they're doing something, where it's all a big setup. They are needed in a way to reset the Matrix for the integral anomaly to carry the code, and they're needed by the architect and the Oracle. And the Oracle, again, wasn't on anybody's side, wasn't the nice person. She was working with the architect to screw Neo and everybody else over so the Matrix could be reset. All a big game. I mean, that's like Neo could stop those Sentinels in the real world by just putting out his hand. Well, that proved it wasn't the real world, and he was still inside the Matrix. So this Patrick McGowan's always trying to get back to London, and half of me is going, why? Just enjoy what's nice about the village. Why you're just going back into basically another part of the same Matrix. So he keeps, every time he escapes, they bring him back. It's like a hamster wheel. But then on the other side, one of the big truth drops of The Prisoner is he's rewarded for his intransigence and not an impertinence. He doesn't give in. Everybody else, it seems that, somebody might say to him, I was an important person and they kidnapped me off to this island and I gave them what they want. I told them what they want. And it doesn't seem like it's as much as they really want the information. That's like a facade. It's just to break the person so they give away themselves spiritually or whatever. Maybe it's a metaphor for something. They don't really want information like the beginning of The Prisoner. What do you want? Information. We'll get it too, by hook or by crook. It's an old English term, means by any means necessary. I tried to look up what is the meaning of by hook or by crook. That's in the beginning of every single Prisoner episode. It just means by any means necessary. Nobody knows exactly why those words are put together in the manner in which they are, by hook or by crook. And he's like, you'll not get it from me. And they don't care about any information. They don't care. The first level popcorn cruncher watcher thinks he was a double agent or like 007, and he has classified files in his head that they want. It has nothing to do with information. It's about the ability to be broken by a system. That is basically the situation that we're in. To be broken, to break down, to give in. He doesn't ever give in. He always, even though it's futile to keep escaping, he should have realized that there's supernatural means. There's this weird bubble that comes up from the sea and hunts him down, and they have methods that just don't make any sense as to how they know everything that's going on. He should have given up the escape and just been impertinent, or whatever word you want to use, just not given in. And at the end, he's rewarded. They're basically like, you're the only guy that didn't give in to us over how many months or whatever you were here. I don't know how much time was supposed to go by. Seemed maybe 6 months. He didn't give in to anything. He never gave them what they want. He even submitted to torture, to mind experiments to try to reconfigure his brain, physical punishments, like electric shock. He just never gave in to anything. And at the end, they were going to reward him. I'm not going to talk much more about this because I went into detail at freevoice.io, but they're going to make him the leader of the whole thing, which is a little strange. But again, we talked about that on Free Voice on Sunday. So that does relate. I'll close with this, guys. That is a big part of the truth drop here. But we all know this by now anyway. Not to go out and have to fix the world. That's the game it plays. Go march the Hillary Clintons off to jail. Go fix the world. If you could expose that it's splat turf, if we can expose them, and we can then take back our governments, and that's I've said it many, many times recently. That's the game it tempts you with. You can go fix it. And it's only about yourself. Worry about yourself. It's only a game. It can only be played. It cannot be won. It cannot be won in terms of what's outside in reality. It can be won from a personal perspective. So be like Patrick McGowan to a degree. Do not let this system break you. And there's a lot of ways, a lot of definitions as to how somebody can be broken. There are some ciphers in our group. Not many people go back, but I have seen people go back where once you see the world the way we see it, very few want to say, I went back in. But I've seen it happen a few times, though. That would be, to me, being broken by the system. Saying, this conspiracy stuff, I've lost all my friends, I've lost my job, I just can't deal with this right now. I'm going to fake it to make it. I'm going to tell the not milk out in the ether that I went back in. I went back in. I'm just saying this is an example. I'm certainly not saying this for myself. I went back in my corporate job. I'll play ball. Cypher said to Agent Smith, I went back in the Matrix. And Cypher said, and I want to be rich. And I don't want to remember any of this Nebuchadnezzar with a naked, fat Lawrence Fishburne walking around the halls of the Nebuchadnezzar, eating ramen noodles in the middle of the night. I want to get these images out of my head. I don't want to picture that. I want to be rich. I want to be famous. I went back in. I've seen people in our community go back in. It's very rare, though. I would say 97 to 98%. Once you see what we see, we don't even went back in. We then become Patrick McGowan in this. We will not be broken by this system. Doesn't mean you can't have a bad day. Absolutely can't mean you be depressed, and it happens. It's okay. Let it out. It's fine. But it doesn't mean, that you can't go. Be broken doesn't mean going off to work in a corporation if you have 2 kids to feed. You have to. Some people have to do that. There's not a lot, but there are nurses that are here. There's teachers that are here. There are many people that are here because of their job that had to rent the movie Action Jacksonation. And to a small percentage of us, not as many people here, but to the general community, they're traitors. It's just wrong the way some in our community, they had to feed 2, 3, or 4 kids like Benny in Total Recall. Matt, he made those kids up. I know. They had to feed their kids. Whether they worked in a hospital system, the renting of the movie was required. But there's like this, vein of the truth community. Many of them, they're not here. They left this type of channel a long time ago to go back to their fear videos and their Tartaria videos, where you gave in. I'd never give in. I'd march my family off and we'd live in a cardboard box if we have to avoid that. See, that's wrong in my opinion. It's not. You're not giving in, dooming yourself. If you were in a situation you had to feed your kids. Or, you know what I mean? It's not all or none. You know who ultimately decides who won? If you've done enough, no outside no judge or whatever. No, you decide if you've done enough, if you've gone back into the matrix, if you needed to do what you needed to do to keep your job and feed your kids or whatever. That you have to live with yourself. You're the standard for it, not no outside standard or some truth people running around screaming genocide or whatever. So anyway, I guess that's starting to stray here. I just wanted to talk about what happened to me. And if there's anybody, I'd be interested to hear if anybody in our community doesn't believe there was a connection or relationship. Some may believe it's stronger than others. Some may believe it's manifestation, where it's more the universe. Matt, you didn't do it, but the universe showed you in some way. Is there anybody that could possibly be at a channel like this in the things we discuss that just thought it was a coincidence? I don't know. There's every time I talk about Trump, there's a couple people in the comments that are here that believe in Trump. How the heck? How is that possible? Anybody that believed in in the political system hopefully would have left this channel years ago, but it always happens. So if you think it's just a coincidence, I don't know. Let's hear from you. I'll look to your comments. Thanks for listening.